So, to give you a background check on this topic, let's first dive into its history. To start, we can say that there's not a single person who can be accredited into making or discovering this logical reasoning. Rather, multiple philosophers and mathematicians in ancient times contributed to the development of the science of logic or inference. These countries are India, China, and Greece. Although there are different branches of logic, take note that we would only focus on mathematical logic, or the use of symbols in logic. During the mid-19th century, logic was revived, coming from philosophical logic. It is the beginning of the revolutionary period wherein this type of logic became a formal discipline. The major contributors to this discipline are Boole, Frege, Russell, and Peano, which are all European. During the 20th century, mathematicians Gödel and Tarski gave a significant impact on mathematical logic, which expanded the discipline of this subject. So what are the kinds of logical reasoning? Let's hear it, Max.
Sure thing, Alex. So logical reasoning can be branched down into three different types. There's deductive reasoning, inductive reasoning, and abductive reasoning. Deductive reasoning is when you deduce a true statement from a given set of statements and facts, hence the word deduce, deductive. So an example of this would be when Jimmy was 6 years old, his sister was half his age. Now that Jimmy's 70 years old, how old is his sister, right? So using these two statements, you could deduce how old his sister was. By the way, if your answer was 35, you're wrong. The second one is inductive reasoning. This is when you look at patterns or trends in order to estimate what the next answer would be. So if you get a set of 3, 6, and 9, you could find the pattern, which it's intervals of 3, so the next one would be 12, right? But then again, when you generalize, you don't know exactly if the trend will continue. So if I get N, E, and S, I could take it as north, east, and south, so my next answer would be west, W. Possible. But what if in reality it's Nestlea, Nestle? That's possible too. So when you generalize, you don't know if your trend will continue or not. Now the last one is abductive reasoning. Now this one is sort of guessing, using common sense or what you've experienced before. So an example would be Jimmy, gonna use Jimmy again. Jimmy has peanut butter in his fridge and he's eating a peanut butter sandwich now. So using those two statements, you could guess that Jimmy used the peanut butter in his fridge to make a peanut butter sandwich, and that's what he's eating. Possible. Makes sense, logical, right? But in reality, you don't know if that peanut butter sandwich came from the peanut butter in his fridge. He could have been given the sandwich from his friend, or he could have bought the sandwich at a store. See, so you don't know exactly what the true outcome would be, making it inaccurate. Okay, now you know the three different types. I'll send you over to JC for a sample problem.
Okay, so for an example of logical reasoning, we can look at the law of syllogism. Basically this one. What it says is, if P happens, then Q happens. And then if Q happens, then F happens. So basically what it's saying is, if P happens, then F happens. Basically, P is the hypothesis and Q is a conclusion. And in the second example, Q is the hypothesis and F is a conclusion. Let me give an example. If Sir Perez is a great teacher, then we will get the lesson. If we get the lesson, then we will get high grades. So basically, if Sir Perez is a great teacher, then we will get high grades. Let's highlight it right here. So blue highlight represents P, green highlight represents Q, and yellow highlight represents F. So here, Sir Perez is a great teacher. That's gonna be blue. We will get the lesson. That's gonna be green. Here. If we get the lesson, that's green. Then we'll get high grades. That's gonna be yellow. That's red. So here, if Sir Perez is a great teacher, that's blue. Okay. Then we will get high grades. That's gonna be yellow. Thank you.
Wonderful example, JC. So now I'm here to discuss the real-life application of logical reasoning. So reasoning is very important in our life because we make decisions based on the things that can be explained by certain reasons. One example of a real-life application of reasoning is deciding on which employee to hire for a job. Let's say you're given two people with different traits that can be fit or not to the company, and you will be having them as interns for a month to see if they are appropriate for the slot. Your company is looking for a team player that can contribute in managing the company by keeping the team's chemistry at a high level. After 1 month, you have come into a conclusion that person A is respectful, kind, professional, and had a 10-year experience in being a team building leader, while person B was rather inattentive, lacks communication with coworkers, tends to be stubborn, and a fresh graduate. So if I were the one to choose between the two people that applied for the job, I would pick person A since he can lead the team with his 10-year experience, and based on the traits that we see in him, he can build a great relationship with his coworkers, which can lead to efficient work. So now, Rick will sum up the main points of our blog about logical reasoning.
Yo Lyle, thanks for the introduction. So I'm here today to summarize our topic, which is logical reasoning. Logical reasoning uses data in order to draw new and logical conclusions. It is believed to have come from the different philosophers of China, India, and Greece. There are 3 types of logical reasoning: deductive reasoning, inductive reasoning, and abductive reasoning. Deductive reasoning uses the law of syllogism, also known as associative property. For example, if A is equal to B and B is equal to C, then A is equal to C. Second, inductive reasoning. Inductive reasoning generalizes from the different patterns and trends in order to draw new conclusions. Lastly, abductive reasoning. Abductive reasoning uses the different data in order to infer new conclusions but may pose possible failure. So, why do we need logical reasoning? It is important for us to use logical reasoning because it increases our odds of success when making proper decisions. So, that's all. I hope you enjoy our lesson. Thanks. Have a nice day.